Welcome to yet another edition of POS, the podcast where we're on Zoom and it's okay. Bobby, how are you?
I'm good, buddy. How about you?
You got hockey going on.
Yeah, because you know what, Pat? At the end of the day, a good group of players playing as a team will beat a bunch of superstars playing as individuals every day of the week.
Not every day. The Dream Team basketball won.
They
They beat a
played as
lot
a
of
team.
teams.
They
No, they
played as
weren't
a
a team.
team.
They did practice. That was the one time. You are right 99.9% of the time, but that one instance
That's a good point. There's an
and
exception.
gangbangs.
Also a good point. There's an
Not a
exception to
team,
every rule,
but all
and those are
stars.
the
Yeah,
exceptions.
those are
Yeah,
the two.
yeah.
Why
Oh God, do you
you
ever
are
watch that?
obsessed with that hockey though. You love that team.
Uh, it that movie played a very big impact in
I always talk about the
times
movie.
of.
Do you actually like the team or do you like the movie?
So most of what I know about the team comes from the movie. But I will say one of the best moments I had, like when college wasn't good for me. Like I was flunking out. My parents didn't know. They thought I was in the honors college still, all this stuff. One of the only good moments I had in college, my dad came to see Mike Eruzione talk, and we went to
Nice.
it together, and that was really cool. And he lived up to expectations.
I told you that I met Jim. What's his name? Right?
Jimmy Craig? Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
I
Because
think
I
we
freaked
did.
out literally the same
Yeah,
time. The
I
same
want to
night.
say you did. Yeah, and that was. I mean, it was like we all. I was working for Budweiser, and he came and spoke to us. So like 30 sales guys all got to meet him. It was 10 seconds, but he spoke to
So
us.
cool.
Him and Bobby Valentine spoke to us about motivation, this, that, whatever, and it was pretty cool. So, um, yeah, he wasn't as big as I don't know why. I think it's because when I was a kid, it was such a big deal. I just pictured him big. He didn't even look like an athlete. He looked like just a guy. But then
Yeah.
again, hockey goalies all do look like guys. You know what I mean? They take a beating, whatever. It's like,
They're just psychos. Hockey goalies in particular are nuts.
speaking of psychos, I don't know why, but the last
Eminem.
week, Eminem.
Yeah,
What about him?
he's psycho.
Okay, you can elaborate.
No, just in a cool way.
No, go ahead. Before I get to my thing, I want to. I don't know. I didn't know he was a psycho.
Like he could spit psycho bars. Remember
Is that?
when he wrote that song about like killing his wife?
Yo, is that called psycho bars? Are we gonna do this again with the music thing where it's murder?
No. We're good.
We
I was just
could.
trying to tag stuff.
Oh, because I
I
didn't
didn't
know it was
actually
called
have a name. I
psycho
was like,
bars.
I mean, that's my new rap name.
Psycho
It's
bars. How
it's
do you spell it?
SYKKK.
Yeah. I was gonna say I wouldn't go 3K. I'd go 2, but I was like, I like that you're going totally differently.
Yeah.
Or
So
like
anyway, speaking of
C
psycho.
CY dash COE, like
Yeah,
psycho.
yeah, I see that. I see
Or
that. Yeah.
and even not dash if you don't go bars at the end, if you're just psycho, like CYCOE.
Ooh, okay. What about this one? PSI.
Is
KEW.
see everyone's gonna say pissy.
Well, there was that guy, Goggins style.
Yeah.
That his name was Sai.
Right. But no one's gonna say they're gonna say pissy because no everyone remembers that song, but until you say, oh, his name was Psy, everyone just goes, oh, Opum Gangnam style guy.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good point.
no one remembers his name. That's just what he is. Like my next album that I do, I don't know when it's gonna be. I've just really started to get a framework of like what I want to do. And it's all just it's kind of it's based loosely on thing, but basically because me elaborating on things that have happened in my life. And some, obviously, in all comics we add stuff. So I wanted to call it Pat the Logical Liar. So it's
I like it.
so it's pathological liar because my
That's
name
really
fits right
good.
into the thing. So it's like, and I
Yeah,
was like, oh, that could also be my rapper name if I was ever that Pat the Logical Liar.
that's pretty good.
Yeah. So I was
I'm
like,
starting to smell a rap crew.
let's
We got
go,
Psycho Dan.
let's go, and all I do is go,
No way, I'm
let's
Psycho.
go. That's all I do. Go.
I wanted to be the West Side Gun type improviser. Boop boop boop.
We could just be that. We could just both be hype men and no one raps.
I think we have to bring Squirrely Dan Brown in at some point, and he should be the vocal voice, and we just do the improvs for him.
You just go,
Somebody call the cops.
um. So speaking of psychos, I have been watching. I've been going down a rabbit hole of greatest knockouts of all times in boxing.
Ooh,
And it's been
okay.
very fun. And just what obviously you once you do that, you get into a lot of Tyson. I mean, you get into a lot of other stuff too. I don't mind it when there's smaller. Like I was just watching some Pacquiao hat and stuff like that. That punch is amazing. But at the same time, nothing's like watching a 250-pound man hit a
Killer.
275-pound man and just dropping him out of body. Like the size, the speed, the strength. So it always goes to Tyson, no matter what. And the psychos aren't Tyson. The psychos are the people that would just run their mouth. And I know they had to do it to psych themselves up, but that's what all these videos do. They just show Tyson going, I bet you'll be a wonderful fight. He's gonna have I'm gonna have no problem taking him out, but I'm sure he's prepared. And the other guy's like, oh man, Tyson's like Tony Tucker's like, Tyson's got no shot. I'm taller. I'm stronger. Bruce Seldon, I hit so much harder. And he did. He's strong. It's like Frank Bruno. They're all like, you can't handle my punch. First round. Boom. It's just like I would have, I'm in my head. I literally like laying down in bed going, if I was ever a boxer, I'd be like, it's going to be a good fight.
That dude's gonna whoop my ass. He shouldn't try hard.
No, because some people have tried to do that too. You can't go that far, so you can't say you're a pussy and be beat. You're gonna be like, yeah, I'm like, if all my plans go well, we should be a good night for us. But you never know. You know what I mean? Like,
That's a good point.
let's just go. You know what I mean? And then just hope I don't die.
I don't get the idea of giving your opponent locker room or billboard, chalkboard.
It's not selling. I know they think it's selling tickets. Tyson sold tickets.
Yeah.
If you're okay, Fury
McGregor.
Fury Wilder right now. Yeah, if you're a boxing fan, you want to watch that. But if you're not, and you're like a UFC guy who might want to watch different fighting, you need to know the story about it. You need to know Fury is this charismatic guy, that Wilder's this big, strong guy who almost, when you look at them, Fury shouldn't be winning, but Fury's this incredible boxer. So it's like you want that talk shit back and forth to sell tickets to get me to buy the pay-per-view. Tyson is the ticket. No matter who he's fighting, even when he fought Foreman, anyone he fought, or Holmes, I mean, when he fought people like that, you're just like, it wasn't about the name. It was just Tyson versus Tyson's going to kill somebody. Want to be crazy to watch Tyson. When I was a kid, it was like, hey, watch Tyson on HBO. Don't go to the bathroom. Have you all heard that story about the people in Vegas who went to get a hot dog and they missed the fight? Like, that was the thing. Like it was so quick, it was so fast with Spinks and all that stuff, whatever. That was it. And then one of the guys, I forget the guy's name, I think it was Tate. He was the first guy he fought when Tyson came back from prison. And the guy's like, I doubt he's even in shape. And the announcer's going, he's in prison shape. like the way they said it was just like we're all supposed to know what that means. But when he did say it, you're like, that sounds terrifying.
That's
prison
not what
shape.
you want to hear. Yeah.
No. Like, that sounds horrific. Like, he's in the shape. He was already the baddest man on the planet. And now he's been locked up in his mind unjustifiably. And now he has to earn everything back that he lost from people he thought was stealing from him, and do that by destroying people with his fists. And this guy's like, I'm stronger. I'm undefeated. Yeah, for now. Give it a minute.
Dude, I was watching an interview recently. It was Rampage Jackson. And he said when he beat Wanderlei Silva, it was Dana White's fault. Because he made him wait after weigh-ins to do a fighter meeting for like an hour, and Rampage is like, I just want to eat. I cut weight. I'm starving. Wanderlei wants to eat too. He walks over and goes, I know you remember that knee from last time, because he knocked him out with a knee. And Rampage was like, yeah, Dana White cost that motherfucker the fight, because I was ready to kill him then, and I just channeled it in the ring, and it was like one of his best knockouts. It's why talk shit. But did you watch the quarterbacks thing on Netflix?
I haven't. Yeah, I saw it's on there. I got it in a queue.
It's very good. Definitely
it's mostly Pat Mahomes, though, right?
No, it's actually a pretty.
See, everyone told me it was just Mahomes. I'm like, I don't want to watch just Mahomes.
Well, I mean, you know how the season ended up, so he gets.
Well, I hate his girlfriend and his brother, so I'm afraid they're going to be on it a lot.
Whoever did the editing also clearly hates his girlfriend and brother. So you might enjoy that part.
I like that. It was me. Oh,
he keeps the screams in. At one point at the end, he syncs up Mahomes jumping and yelling on the field with her shrieking from the booth. And then, like, at the most critical point when Mahomes is down, you can see just in the corner of the screen, but it's his brother scrolling through very clearly through TikTok, not watching the game from the booth. And it's like
Jeez.
he set him up on purpose to keep that in there.
Because he is such a fantastic athlete and a brilliant person. Pat Mahomes really does understand how to be a quarterback in 2023. Not only like an athlete, but like literally understand it from the advertise. He knows that he has the opportunity to be Tom Brady in that regard of everyone talks about him and he can be the franchise thing and handles himself surrounded by latcher on fuckheads, which sucks when that's the ones you love.
Well, that competitive thing too, because he has that X factor that some people don't, and that's the biggest thing that stands out in the series is like he cares the most about football of all the quarterbacks.
If you have Andy Reid as a coach and you're doing well, you have to care. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Like, like, it's almost like when people are worried about Wemby being any good. I'm like, he's got pop. So like Wemby's going to be good on San Antonio no matter what, because his mindset's going to be great. He may not be the greatest player ever, but he's going to have this mindset because Pop teaches mindset. So same thing with Andy Reid. He's not going to allow Mahomes to be. He lets that, what's his name, the fucking tight end be a shithead because you need one shithead. But he also knows I can replace him with another guy anytime I want.
They even say that in there because at one point Mahomes gets in a guy's face who took a cheap shot at him. And he's like, yeah, Andy usually lets me get away with whatever, but I guess I was getting a bit carried away. He's a terrible shit talker. But the point I was going to make is at one point going into AFC Championship weekend, the receiver from the Bengals looks at the camera. If they win, they're playing the Chiefs. It's already decided. And goes, yeah, I hope we get to go to Burrowhead Stadium instead of Arrowhead.
Yeah.
And it's like, why would you do that? Why would you piss off this guy? You know what I mean? Like, just don't poke the fucking bear.
Well, because Joe Burrow.
Right, but don't piss off Mahomes.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That was once again that was at the same time where people were literally because Kansas City didn't have a good year before, so they were like, "Oh, Joe Burrow might be the big star now." It's like easy. No one named Joe Burrow. That's not how this works. If you watched any movie ever, that's usually the name of the white guy who's the jerk who's trying to steal your girlfriend. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's not the name. Pat Mahomes is the name of your hero. Joe Burrow is not.
Kirk Cousins takes off every Tuesday. What?
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta.
No. He doesn't work any Tuesday during the football season. He does no football on Tuesdays.
Right.
That's astonishing.
Oh, you don't know why?
Because he and his wife need that personal time.
No, that's when we record. Kirk Cousins watches POS, so he waits till it comes out.
Did you freeze?
You froze to me, but I guess we both froze.
Oh, okay. I was like, damn, he's lost in thought.
You froze to me and I froze to you, I guess. Hopefully that came out. But no, I said out loud, I said that we recorded on we record on Tuesdays and he loves POS. So he waits for it to come out and he's like, I can't be distracted. Sometimes they put it out later because they mess up with the editing. So I want to make sure it's out. That's what he's doing.
Okay, well, if that's the case, I'll give him a pass. But otherwise, you're a pro football player. You got 7 years to make an impact. Sorry, babe, you're going to have to miss a couple Tuesdays.
I don't know. You do need one day off, and Sunday is your big day, or Monday you have your game. So it's like, so I get it. Take a Tuesday off.
Yeah, no, I do. I get what you're saying, too. I do understand that. It's just very telling in the thing because it's Mariota, it's Kirk Cousins, and it's Mahomes.
You know what?
The level of effort they put in is where they end up at the end of the season. Like, Mahomes really cares.
But then again, I mean, obviously with the power of editing, I bet you Mahomes also said he takes Tuesdays off, and then they didn't put that in. You know what I mean? It's like the coach will. I'm sure if the coach had a mandatory practice, Kirk Cousins is there. You know what I mean? Like he's also allowed to not be there on Tuesdays.
Yeah, that's true. Right. Kirk Cousins also has like a young stud coach who he just bullies. At one point, like in the greatest comeback game, he looks over, he's like, Kirk, don't get frustrated. You got to calm down. And Kirk just throws his helmet at and goes, I'm fucking frustrated.
That reminds me, see, I went down this weird. You ever watch a thing in a TV show or movie and you compare it to something else that's almost real life, and you go, wow, that really tells me how this, you know what I mean? Like you watch a thing in a movie and you go, oh, yeah, I never looked at it this way. So the boys in the last season,
they're back in town.
Yeah, they're putting up I don't know if you've seen it, but there's new trailers now for stuff. It's looking pretty good. But with the new season, what's her name? The chick, the blonde, Light Starlight.
I've not watched. I'm sorry.
Okay, there's all the hero, but there's a girl Starlight, and then there's the big bad guy, Homelander, and he's the hero, but he's all, and they're owned by this corporation. Long story short, to get into it, what it is they hate each other. They're fighting, but to put the spin on like their Fox News Network thing that kind of promotes who they are, like they're saying, "Oh, Starlight has a crush, and that's why she's teasing." Like they do this whole thing, and they go with it, but in real life, Homelander's like basically this creep who like a hero that like does anything. You sleep with whoever, do whatever. He basically can rape these people, kill them, doesn't matter, and he just treats them like hell, and their lives are bad. And I was watching something about current WWE wrestling, and there's a wrestler, a very cute girl. Whose name is Liv Morgan, who's been wrestling for a couple of years. She's had titles, stuff like that, whatever. And they always talk about her thing is like, how hard it was for her to come up from New Jersey and be smaller, but learn how to wrestle. But she loved wrestling her whole life because her hero is John Cena. And she's always loved John Cena. And she might even have a little crush on John Cena. And then they always show John Cena like winking. And I'm like, is John Cena Homelander? Is John Cena like really just banging this lady and like forcing her to do this? And if you want to keep being on WrestleMania, Liv Morgan, you've got to bow down to the Cena. You can't see me, but you can blow me. Like, is that what's happening here?
That was good. You can't see me. You can't blow me.
It's just as a shirt.
Did you see him speak and apologize in Mandarin?
Yes, one of my favorite things of all times.
Spoiler alert, Pat. He's Homelander. He's not a great guy. I've never met a person who speaks Mandarin that well and apologizes to the Chinese that I like.
Here's the funny thing. I've met a couple, because he's from Massachusetts. I've known or met a couple people in my life that all know him from the hometown. And all of them say he was a great guy in high school. Fun fact, all those people I met, not great guys. So it's like sometimes you have to look at the other. Like I was like the one guy who told me this. I worked with him at a job for like a couple months. He would I wasn't driving. He'd have to pick me up to drive me to work. He'd have to get me a half hour early so we could stop at the methadone clinic so he could get his methadone before we went to work. And one day we were on the highway and running late. There was traffic. So on this highway stretch in Connecticut, a lot of highways have this. There's like, there's a bunch, not only a median, but also a lot of grass and almost like a valley as a divider. He just goes, "Oh, they won't notice." Dude, I'm not kidding you. He drives his car into the median, into the bird, and now we're driving like this. So at one point, I'm sitting up, and I'm in shotgun. I'm looking straight down at him driving. I don't know how we're not flipped over. And he's going, as long as we keep going 50, we won't flip. I don't think he has science to it. He's just going. I'm like, how are we not getting pulled over? And he goes, because we're white. And he's just driving like this. And then he pulls back up the right spot. We don't get in any trouble. I thought I almost pissed my pants.
That's that heroin confidence.
Yes. That guy told me John Cena's cool.
I mean, that guy seemed pretty cool in his own right. He calculated the angle and the speed. He seemed it's like that movie Speed. As long as we don't go below 50.
Shout out Johnny Frett, the guy who would sell people security systems on their phone and then go, "Do you have any Xanax?" Like he's talking to them on the phone, the recorded thing. They're in Arizona or somewhere. So when the sale was done, he was trying to see if they had Xanax to send him.
Did it ever work?
Oh, no. The job I had, most of the people we talked to got tricked into signing a security home contract because they don't speak English. So we were just calling up and trying to dupe them into re-signing.
Como se dice Xanax?
I got fired because I broke a rule, but it really was because someone had sold this Asian woman who owned a Chinese food restaurant a contract she didn't understand and had really broken English. So she had her daughter get on and go, I had to fax a thing over to them, but their fax wasn't working. And the daughter said, "Is this recorded?" And I said, "Yes." She goes, "I'm giving you permission to sign for her. We want the security. We're not in a great neighborhood." And I said, "As long as you're saying that, we should be fine." So I signed her name, and then they fired me because I forged it. But they kept the sale.
Shouldn't have forged that signature.
Yeah. Right.
Just kidding.
Yeah. Great place to work.
That feels like one of those places they don't tell you the job you're applying for until you've gotten it.
Dude, No, I knew what the job was. Here's what this job was. Ready? So um this was the year I won Last Comic Standing. Okay, so I'm in the contest. So this is like 8-9 years ago. I'm doing this job. The guy who was my manager, he managed a small like branch of people that had to make all these phone calls. There was a couple different groups. He managed
Oh,
one
dude, I
group.
thought you meant your comedy manager for a second. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, no, no. I never had one of those.
I'm so sorry. I
That's
was
right.
like, God, Pat was doing well at one point.
I've had the offer,
I'm
and then
sure
I
you
didn't.
still have it, dude. You're very.
No, 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 no. I don't mean by the way. I just mean I've had the offer till they go. So what's your Instagram numbers? What's your TikTok like? I'm like, God, I go, it's doing it right now. I got this new thing where I do silly motivational stuff, and it's getting 1,000 views each time. They're like, yeah, get to 10 million,
Like
you're
a
fine.
rock.
Yeah, yeah, that worked. Come on, that was good today. It's
Yeah,
like,
dude, I liked it. That was great.
Rodney Norman has been sharing those, and those ones get like 5-6 thousand. He's like, dude, this is a great idea. I'm like, whatever. But
I,
anyway,
I
so
think it's great because it's like turning old school radio, like how you would introduce a song almost, into modern day Instagram. I really enjoyed them. Like at first I thought it was like weird, kind of out there, but now I get what it is. I get what you're doing, and I
right,
really like
I'm
it.
trying to do like here's the music. And I think that people will kind of like go and hear it, and like I'll listen to the song. And at the same time, the video is just nonsense B-roll of me walking around somewhere. But then the wording is a quote of me saying silly shit that I couldn't say on stage. And I make sure my name's underneath, so it's getting all the things. I'm putting the hook in, and I'm getting you. And it's not really my act. It's like if you watch that and then watch this, you're like, that's not the same fucking thing. But anyway, back to that job. This job was wild. So I needed a job, and a buddy of mine, this kid Colin Cook, used to do comedy. I don't know if he does it anymore. He lived in two worlds. He was a stand-up comic, and he would do a lot of mics. He worked hard. He did a little New York stuff, not a lot, but he was decent. But he also was a recovering drug addict, like hardcore drug addict. And so what he did was when he became a manager of this job that had to hire people to work on commission, he hired from the two worlds he knew. I worked in a room with 14 people, 7 of them comedians, 7 of them former drug addicts that were still getting methadone. And that was who you had calling people. Desperate comedians who could talk off quick. We had all guys who were quick. This guy Brian Plum, this guy Caesar Strauss. This one kid Dave Moon, who actually lived in both worlds too, because he was a drug addict and he was a drug dealer and he was a comedian and his dad was a pimp. This guy could sell anything, but he also found every loophole to steal everything.
Dude, this is like the crew they assembled in the Wolf of Wall Street. You guys
Yes,
were the
it was
salesmen of the
very much
fucking
like
year.
that.
Yeah,
So
dude.
I have a problem with. I can talk, I can say whatever, I can present things well.
You
I
have a
can't
conscience.
I can't take people's money when they have no money.
Yeah,
I
you have
can't.
ethics.
Yeah, I can't. So I was bad at it, and so it wasn't really working out for me. But like the people, like the guy Frat, he's the one that's the job we were going to, doing the sideways drive, and all the women there, like they all kind of knew each other, but they would just like one day they'd all be cool, and then like a guy and girl like start dating. The next day, one's like, he relapsed, fuck him, and they'd be screaming, figuring out it's like he's gonna take me down with them, and they're just screaming. They're on drugs. They're like they have they're bipolar. They're nuts. They're off their meds. They can't be on certain meds that used to work because the meds make them go back into their addictions. And then you got all these comedians who are upset they're not getting any work. And I'm in the middle. I'm doing this while trying to do rounds of this contest to win money because like it was fucking crazy, dude. I was like, it was only like 3 months, but it was insane.
Sounds awesome in hindsight. Like that.
No,
You
it
made
was
to
even
where,
then.
okay.
It was. I'm happy I did get fired because like I don't want to do this. I'm not making any money. Like you go there, I always bro. Like you did one sale, you get good commission at the end of the month. But if you didn't, your base pay was like nothing.
Okay. I
It
did
was
a job
very
like
low.
that
Yeah,
called Clean Water Action, where you'd go door to door and ask people for money to save the environment.
I did that for your electricity. Like, you go there and switch over who you get the power from.
Yep. Not a fun job.
Oh, a lot of once again going to people that don't speak English. They think you're the power company or the water company, and so they're afraid, and they think they have to give you money, and that you could take advantage of that, but I wouldn't. And it's just like
I
they're like
wore a suit every day.
we had to wear a shirt and tie, and this is
We
when I
did
first
it.
got divorced. I had to wear a shirt and tie and walk, and you would drive in a group, so like 4 of us would be dropped off in like the inner city of Waterbury, Connecticut, which just look it up. It's not a good time. And they just, all right, Pat, you're going in this section. There's a map. You know, this is like so 15. I've been doing comedy 15. Yeah, like 14, 13 years ago. We're going to drop you off here.
Yep.
At the end of the day, you'll end up here and we'll pick you up then. And then you have to go back. You couldn't drive your own car because they didn't want you going home or hiding in your car, not doing your work. So they would make everybody go in teams. In for like there was this cute girl and these two other guys. We used to be in the same group. And the cute girl, I felt bad because like she knew to make money, she'd have to like wear like a business kind of suit, but like shorter skirt, whatever, and like nice shoes, and then walk hills and shit. It's like you're by the fifth thing, you're like sweating. Most people aren't at their homes. Some people you're trying to redo, but most of you're trying to find places that don't have it. You we had to search and find out who they were using as a distributor, if they knew who their power distributor was. Most of them people don't. You're going in and saying that if you sign on with us, your rate here will be lower, but you don't tell them that with certain times of the year when it goes higher, so they get kind of fucked and you got to sign into a thing. It was just madness. It was just,
I lasted a week because I watched.
I was like 2 months. Yeah.
My supervisor was a woman, and I watched what would be described.
Wait, if you said it just like that and you were done, that would have been hilarious. Like,
no. I wish I was that cool. But I watched what would be described as probably like 4 cc's of fluid, sweat, drip from her hairy armpit, land on the sandwich she was eating during her snack break, and she took a bite. And I went, nah, fuck the environment. I'm out.
I know I'm going to sound ignorant or whatever, not woke. Have you ever dated anybody or at least been on a date or been attracted to anyone, then found out they had a hairy armpit?
Not armpit.
What?
I dated somebody who refused to shave her legs.
Okay. Yeah, I've dated someone that also at one point wanted to try doing that. They got uncomfortable before I had to get uncomfortable. That
It
leg
is
part,
like a game of gay chicken at that point.
right? Yes, I get what you're saying. The good news is, I was away for like a week or so when they decided to kind of do this, and then after me being there one day, they were the ones who were like, when their leg hit my leg, they were like, "This is wrong." And then they're like, yeah, so that was fine. But I was dating a girl that at one point, all of a sudden, in the middle of not boyfriend, girlfriend, but like seeing each other. And one point, she was just like, went from like being this one thing to like, now I'm a hippie that uses crystals like in a day, like flipped her whole deal. And it's like, I'm going to start growing my armpit hair. What do you feel about that? I go, well, it's been nice knowing you. I'm like, well, I go,
yeah,
I can't. And then she goes, so you're allowed to have it? I go, if it makes you feel better, I'll shave mine. I don't like mine either. Like, I'll shave my armpit hair. Like, if that's the deal, we can both be without. I'd rather you shave your head and be a bald woman than have hairy armpits. Not because of the look either. Yeah, I don't like that. But I already know what it does to men. Women don't realize how much they sweat sometimes. And the reason why they smell better is they don't have hair trapping the thing. You got hair under the armpit, and you're running around. This lady was doing yoga and all that hot yoga with hairy armpits. Fuck you.
Here's the deal, babes. You lucked out by getting 2 X chromosomes. Most of life's going to be much, much easier for you than me. Okay, you're going to get a job easier. You're going to get paid more. Just you're not going to have to work as hard. Things are just going to be handed to you. The one thing I get by being blessed with a Y chromosome is hair sexy on me. Sorry. It's the one trade-off we get in this shit. Also, I'm naturally stronger and a better athlete.
I always forget what the chromosome is. So when people say it, I'm like, is X the good one?
You want 1 X, 1 Y.
I have the Malcolm X chromosome where I'm always like, I'm going to cheat on my wife, but also tell you how to live.
We didn't land on hairy vaginas.
Hairy vagina landed on us.
Yeah, buddy.
I only know that because of Denzel.
I only know that because of How High.
Oh, because they repeated it when he said that. Yeah, that's a great. That's a good
professor's
movie.
like, I'm glad one person's paying attention to what I'm saying.
Dude, speaking of good movies, this is off this everything. I just watched a movie I didn't know existed, and I loved it. You ever seen Ender's Game?
Yes, I have.
Fucking loved fantastic.
The books.
I've been told they're great.
I read 2 of them. Yeah, dude.
I hear you got to read them in a weird order, though. Like, not the one they kind of suggest, but whatever. Now people are telling me because I posted a thing on it. But man, that cast was awesome. Harrison Ford that's my favorite Harrison Ford roles ever. Just being mean to kids in space.
It's great. I don't remember the movie as well as I do the books, just because I don't know if anybody told you anything about the books, but
Yeah.
basically, so you know.
And I've read up on the books. I'm not going to order them, but you can't spoil a book. A book's a book.
No,
You know
no,
what I'm
no.
saying?
But I'm not going to spoil anything. It's
No, you
just
could. I would imagine.
it's all the same story, just from different characters' perspective. So you get the same story several times over.
Right. But supposedly, what I've heard from some people who are suggesting it is that Bean's character, that's the best version of the story.
Is that Ender's Shadow?
I think that was the name of that one.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's my favorite.
Right.
Dude, one of the best lessons in life.
Yeah, always kill bugs.
Yeah, you can be retarded and happy or smart and sad.
But I don't know. This cast, if you remember, you got Harrison Ford. You're wasting Ben Kingsley for no reason, but still, Ben Kingsley, face tattoo, whole 9 yards. Viola Davis, the actors that are in it, I know it was earlier, so like she wasn't Viola Davis yet, but still is like, motherfucker, you've got some serious actors in this thing. And all the kids were really good in it. The kid who's the lead, after 5 minutes, you believe he could lead a fucking army. Like the kid who just played the psycho brother choking, like that kid's an asshole. Like I would always say, you're an asshole. That's who you are.
Does it get into what the brother does during the war in the movie?
No, nothing about the war. They just talk about why he didn't move on.
Okay,
that's all you get. You don't get anything about war. I mean, I'm not spoiling it. The movie came out like years ago. In this movie, the only thing you get about the war is the trading up to it, and then Ender actually being tricked into winning the war. Yeah. That's where it ends. It ends with him traveling to try to find peace in other parts of the world because he feels awful for what he did. And that's how it ends.
So in the book, while he's away, his brother basically becomes Alex Jones and is leading the alt-right on Earth, and his sister becomes like the CNN. So they're debating each other, bickering on alternate sides of the battle while he's just
makes sense because one was the whole talk of Ender was his one side is from the brother he can't stop is that anger to not be able to be controlled and using violence to whatever, and then Valentine, her whole thing was that, you know, like the having empathy and love and care even for your enemy, because you know you're not going to win unless you do love them, you know what I mean, in a way, because you have to know them so much you have to almost love them. So it's like,
the floor is down.
The floor isn't down.
The gate is down, or
whatever. Gate is down. Yeah, the gate is down.
Same idea.
Fucking, I love that movie. I've been watching a bunch of movies. No movie sucks. Breach with Bruce Willis and a bunch of shitheads. It's the worst, and I like Bruce Willis.
He just runs around, keep going. Who am I? How did I get here?
His first scene is so corny.
You know that, right?
Right. His first scene though is so corny. Like someone goes, "Hey man, good seeing you," and he punches him in the face and goes, "Same to you."
Hell yeah, dude. I might watch this movie after we're done with this.
I couldn't get more than 10 minutes in. It was fucking garbage.
Dude, I made some mistakes getting into stuff this weekend. I think I found a book that I shouldn't have read because, boys fired up.
The Bible?
No, I've read the Bible back to back.
This much is on Jesus. All this Jews. That's the Louis joke. I love it.
Yeah, I was about to say second half's way better than the first.
He just goes Jews. He's like, he goes, and the whole time they're just like, it's a far walk.
They complain a lot.
Because this Jesus guy, he basically, his mom was a drunk, and she's like, there's no wine at this wedding. Make wine.
I did see a TikTok that I thought was hilarious this weekend that's related to that, where it's like David, after he knocked out Goliath, I told y'all, and it's David's boys. They're like, this is like the biggest thing ever, yo. People are gonna reference this.
They're gonna talk about this forever.
Yo, this is gonna be the thing they talk about when the guy they don't think's gonna win won.
No
basis for comparison.
What his boys are like all those podcasts that are in a universe of other shitty podcasts, and they're like, "This is the moment. We got 30 views." It's like, all right.
But I'm sure you've read his book, David Goggins.
The first one, not the latest one.
Is that the You Can't Hurt Me?
No, the fuck's it called? It's not called You Can't Hurt Me. I can't remember, but
oh, okay. That's the one I listened to this week. Oof. It'll get you ready
Is
to
it
go.
him doing the voice?
So here, I did the audiobook, obviously, so
Right.
great
So is it
call.
him?
But no, it's his author. It's his
Okay.
ghostwriter for the majority, for like the written part. Then Goggins pops in and like tells further stories and breaks it down even further. It's one of those audiobooks where there's a lot more
Turn
to
the
the audio.
page, motherfucker.
Yeah, one time I got a letter that was like, David, I have a hard time getting out of bed to run in the morning. I wake up, I want to, but then I just lay in bed. I can't get out of bed. And I thought to myself, one time I was like you, and you know what the fix was? I just realized I was a bitch. Get out of bed, you pussy. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the answer.
Yeah. I knew this. I met this guy one time. He had full blown AIDS. And I was just like, well, then blow it back.
Yeah.
Blow back the AIDS, bitch. It's like, he'll tell you, like, I lost both my legs and I still ran 100 miles. Like, no, you didn't. You had no legs.
He did break both of his shins and then run
Yeah,
the
I
rest of
know.
the hell week on it.
We've all been told that.
Yeah, no, I've heard
I
that a bunch.
also know a lot of people who have been in the military, and the government has a lot of money invested in those people to be able to be things that fight. If you gotta hurt your leg, they do make sure you're better.
They put you down. They shoot you like a
They
horse.
don't let you break both shins and keep running around.
They breed you real quick, and then they put you down like a horse.
They'll mess with you mentally and learn about your endurance. But if you literally have bone snap, they'll make sure your bones are fixed so they can keep on their investment of paying you. They won't just let you carry a boat alone.
No, they will. You don't know that? Who's gonna carry the boats, Pat?
All the people in the Navy.
I'm gonna carry all the boats. But no, there's a lot of good stuff in there, and that's kind of like, so the first half of it's like what we were mocking, like being macho and doing things you shouldn't, and then the second half's like, okay, how do you reel this back in and live a life that's sustainable? Which makes sense, but it just fired me up.
Speaking of macho, so
Like a Ruzioni.
Sundo's not a word. Sunday morning, I was normally, I don't know how you are most of there. Part of my routine every day of my life since I was probably like 16, 17 years old. When I take a shower, I get out of the shower, and one of the first things I do is I take a Q-tip to either ear, and I don't go deeper in, but I do a little cleaning. I don't know why. I've always liked a Q-tip. I've always done it. Whatever. It's always been me. So my whole life, I've kind of done that. Once in a while, you feel like something's in there. You get ballsy sometimes with the Q-tip. Because anyway, in reality, you're not. It's not even made for your ear. We're not supposed to. It even says don't put it in your fucking ear on the thing. But everyone only uses them for their fucking ear. It's like a silent agreement. Like Q-tips, like we'll say don't do it, so you don't sue us. But we know you do it. Like it's that kind of thing. You're not
And
using it to
don't sue
clean.
us. Yeah.
Right. Don't sue us because it's on the fucking thing. Like cigarettes. Like don't smoke this if you're pregnant. But then they're like, we're not going to stop you. No one's going to card you and say no if you have like 9 months pregnant.
Exactly.
They're going to give you the cigarette. So and here's the funny thing. 4 years since I was a child, one of the favorite things I've made fun of in my family, I have a aunt who lives in Texas. Well, I've probably seen like 5 times in my life.
Oh boy, what's her name? Because all my exes live in Texas, Pat.
But now they all live in Tennessee.
That's why I.
Oh, that's why you're there. That's why you're there. Actually, her name is Glenda, which is I've only met the Good Witch and my aunt. That's the only people the name Glenda I've ever heard of in my life. But so Aunt Glenda has a punctured eardrum, and she has this because when I was a kid, this is back in the day with the landlines, the corded, the rotary phones. She was doing a Q-tip, and when the phone rang, she had it in her ear and like got busy and did this and whacked the phone into the Q-tip, and it punctured an eardrum. And I'm always like, if anyone that says to me, "What's the dumbest injury you ever heard of?" I'm like, breaking your brain while answering the phone on Glenda style. So Sunday, because Carmen sucks, I'm playing around with the thing, and I had a towel, and I dropped the towel, and I stupidly like, instead of just like putting one thing down, I went to go like grab the towel, but then also went like this kind of and jammed it, not deep on Glenda style or anything like that, and nothing broke off, but to the point where I'm like, oh, this feels like now I went swimming. I'm starting to feel like it sounds a little bit muffled. I can hear, but it's muffled. You know what? And it had a feeling like my ear felt like I had an earbud in it. Now nothing was in it. Now no Q-tip was in it. Nothing broke off, but it did feel like I had something like that was why the muffling was there and why it felt a little weighty is because it felt like that. So my whole life when I only use Q-tips because I think everyone has their own little OCD things. One thing with me a lot is putting a finger in my ear, not crazy, but like feeling like something's in there, and I'll do that. Like a nervous habit, whatever, I'll do it. So I start doing that now, thinking I can work the whatever it is out, the water, whatever. And I have to get ready to go to be on radio, and I can hear. So it's not like I'm deaf or bad. It's not like it hurts, but it's just odd that it feels muffled, and it feels muffled the whole time. So I'm like, fuck it, it'll go away. It's like swimmer's ear. Maybe if I just go like this enough, maybe water will pop out. I don't know what it is. I go to the radio the whole time. It's kind of like that. And I'm like, it feels strange. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I come home and I'm like, I don't know. I'll probably be able to sleep it off. And then before I went to sleep, I Googled stupidly when you put a Q-tip in your ear, it goes in too far, and it sounds, and everybody's like, sounds muffled. And I'm like, oh yeah, that they searched that. So then I find out that I'm dying, of course, because like if you do that, you might hit your brain, blood, you're dying, all this shit. And like, if you don't go see a doctor within 12 hours, you might lose hearing forever. You could die in your sleep. So now, like, oh, now I guess I'm not sleeping. So if I stay awake all night, then the Grim Reaper can't get me. So now I stay awake till like 3:15 in the morning until I finally pass out. And I wake up not dead, obviously. And I'm talking to my daughter on the phone. It still hasn't gone away. And she said, go to a walk-in. I go, they're not gonna be able to help me. She goes, a couple years ago, when my ear was being weird, we went to a walk-in before going to the regular doctor, or whatever, because they couldn't take us for a little bit. And she goes, they're just gonna like blast it with water. You probably pushed wax in or something, and they're probably just gonna blast the water. It feels weird as hell, but go do it. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm a man, whatever. I don't know. An hour later, I'm like, we're going. Like it's like now it's ever gonna go away. So I go to the walk-in, I get there, and do the whole paperwork thing, whatever. I'm the only person there. I go in and I explain to them I'm an idiot, whatever. And the Indian doctor lady is like, so we'll probably have to put some drops in it, and that will kind of break it up, and then we'll do a water thing, an irrigation. And I went, she goes, well, I go, irrigation, and she goes, yeah, irrigation. I go, no, ear. And she goes, yeah, your ear. I go, oh, never mind. She goes, what are you doing? I go, forget it. I go, you're not going to get it. She goes, what am I not going to get? I go, it's done. It was a play on words. Irrigation. And she goes, ear. And then irrigation. She goes, they're spelled different. I go, yep, you're a doctor. So I'm like, all right, go ahead.
I know what spectrum you're on.
Yeah, but you know what? She's the one getting paid for this, and I'm the one with bad insurance going to it. So she's right. Maybe I should like lay off the wordplay when I'm turning into Helen Keller. So it's like, so as I get there, and as I'm sitting there, whatever, she goes, "We'll try to drop things first," and it felt like 20 wet willies. Just the drops in there was a very weird, not bad, but I had to lay on my side for like a couple minutes like that, so the ear so it could drip in. And for like the first 2 minutes, it was almost like soothing, like the kids call it on YouTube, satisfying. It almost had like that little, because it was starting to crickle like the ocean. But then when it started breaking up what's in there, it started to feel weird, like pop rocks for like a minute and a half. And I'm like, oh, and I'm like wanting to like do something. I'm like, nope, they know what they're doing. And I'm alone in a room today. They don't sit and watch like 5 minutes. So I'm like, but I want to grab it. I had to stop myself. Like weird shit's happening in my ear. I'm like, what if it's eating my brain? Whatever. Then finally kind of like stopped doing that. And she goes, now we're gonna do the irrigation part. And she kind of looked at me waiting for me to do the dumb joke again, I guess. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So she sets up a side bib, like right here, like a lobster bib thing, but on the side, so she can just blast with the water. And so she sets it up there on the side, but she didn't fast it all the way. So the second she hits me, dude, water just pours down my chest and onto it looks like I wet my pants. It's all my stuff. Yeah, it's 90 degrees outside. I know when I go outside, it's going to dry off, but I'm still like, right away. She's like, what? I go, nothing. I just kind of like, I just want to adjust. She goes, oh, I'm sorry. Like, no big deal. So now she's black, and like literally the inside of my ear feels like segregation. Like it really is just like, don't go to our school, like blasting the inside. And that feels goddamn weird. Have you ever had water blasted into your ear?
Oh yeah, I got lots of ear problems. This is giving me PTSD.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't mean to do that, but like at least you get it. It's just a weird ass feeling. And it's going on for like 5 minutes. And at one point she's like, We'll take a break. We're almost there. We're getting through it. I go, what is going on in there? And she's like, so finally she does it, get a little higher, blah, and then she gets it. I can feel like something breaking up. She's like, all right, here we go. And then she does a thing. I don't know why anyone would need this, but then again, I don't get pimple popping. I don't get any of that shit. She turns to me and goes, here, look. And I go, I what? She goes, look, your wax in the bag with the water. I go, why would I want to see that? She goes, a lot of people like to see it. I go, I don't know. She goes, you can take it. I go, I don't take it where?
You
the
can
garbage?
take it. That's your job, bitch.
No, and she just goes, oh, I will. Some people want it. I go, what do they do with it? She goes, I don't know. Candles? I'm like, candles? Who's building candles out of their earwax? But when she was blasting the water and it was hitting me all over the place, she goes, does that feel weird? I go, now that feels like to get bukkake. And I'm not thinking about where I am or what I'm doing. She goes, what? I go, oh, if you didn't get the first, you're definitely not going to know what that is. She goes, I know what that is. I just don't know why you said it.
She's the best. She's my new favorite doctor.
She was pretty great. Like for a woman, she's probably like in her late 20s, who probably went to Yale or something like that, and now has to deal with this walk-in clinic in a shit area in Connecticut, and have to deal with me. She was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
She was pretty fucking cool. Like she didn't mind I made the pun. I said an awful thing. She was stern yet fair with it, but she didn't get mad. She didn't try to cancel me. She just understood I'm an idiot with things in my ears there. So that all gets like cleaned out, and then it feels better. I don't have the muffled thing anymore. She's like, you got to have to take a drop 3 times a day for 7 days. That's got an antibiotic and a steroid in it. I'm like, a steroid? She goes, yeah. I go, so my ears gonna get all mad. Its balls are gonna get all small. She goes, I bet they're already small. I'm like, yeah, see, you did it. Yeah. I'm like all happy. Like she does the joke. So
she goes, please leave my office and never come back.
She was laughing and she just goes, I've had fun. I go, good. She goes, it was a slow day. She goes, you were very fun to deal with. A lot of people really cry and act like little babies during this. Like she just made odd jokes. Like, that's how I get through the day. I'll cry at home. So when I get home and I start dealing with that, and then like so yesterday I had to do that. I'm all done with that. Then I had to go host an open mic. I come home. I have to be on Chaz and AJ this morning at like 6 a.m. So I have to leave the house around 5:30. So around midnight, I'm like, time to go to sleep. Then I lay down going, what if she didn't get everything? My brain goes right to that. What if the water went into, and what if the drops are bad? What if it goes in and now I can't? So now I don't go to sleep till 4 a.m. with that thoughts. I'm watching stupid boxing things. I can't fall asleep. And I had to wake up at 5:30 and have to go on Chess and AJ. Like, I was good for most of it. There was one point where they were talking to this guy who makes guitar cases for famous people. And I'm just like trying to stay awake. And I'm like, then I start feeling like my ears getting muffled. I'm like, oh no, that's my brain shutting off because I'm tired. So, but I did nap today, so that's why we're good now. But like, yeah, I don't want to be a bitch. Here I am thinking I'm gonna die because I had earwax.
Well, Chaz
and sorry, Aunt Glenda. Sorry.
Yeah. You learn. Never gonna make fun of Glenda again.
I still will.
But Chaz and AJ came up Saturday in the green room. Apparently they're a real big fan of you too.
Well, they both came up?
Yeah, actually they both did because they didn't come in, but like the discussion of Earl being on
I was gonna say because they both had appearances the next day at a thing in Bridgeport, and I was very shocked they would be there. And I saw them today, and they didn't mention anything about that. So their names came up. Yeah,
and the fact that they both were very complimentary of you.
Right.
And, well, literally said to Earl how much they enjoy having you on, and that they're so happy you've become a regular thing. Like literally, Earl's like, I think I heard about your boy Pat, so I just wanted to pass that along.
If they said Pat, it'd be great if you found out it was about another different guy, and I'm like, God damn it. But it was funny because when I saw that he was going to be on, I put a comment on Facebook. I'm like, oh, small world. His opening act is my podcast co-host. So when I went in there and all Chad said to me was is Bobby allowed to get a word in when he's with him? And they were just laughing. He's like, we know he knows what he goes, because it was weird for them because it's great to have him on. It is a guy who used to work there, kind of left on weird terms, and it was so many years ago. But also, it's like you don't know who's going to come back and do what. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
He came back and he was great, but also it's like he comes back with like, I'm going to tell a million stories. And if you watch like the clips they put up, Earl does obviously steer it his own way and he's not like worried about where they want to go with it. So you just let that guy do that, whatever. But they also paid me a good compliment today. Chaz said to me, he goes, hey man, because they're off last week. He goes, I thought I was, he was off, but he was still dealing with a lot of people from like the business end and just fans in general. Saw some people. And he was people have been really telling us that they really enjoy when you're on. They really like that. We got a lot of compliments about when you're on. I go, well, it's cool that you guys let me be on and give me as much time as you give me. So it's a give and take that way. And he goes, but you've really in the last couple months like understood the show. Like you know when to sit back, you know when to go never. I go, yeah, like when there's a guy talking about guitar cases and he just looks at me like yeah, I can sit back for that one. Or like when you had that guy on who talks about Hemis. Yeah, I'll take a nap.
Ooh,
Because
I'd
they
have
love,
lots of questions for that guy.
well, they love cars. Like Chaz today, they love cars. So they have a lot of car people on. So when I'm on and that's happening, there's no, like when I first started or young comics that go on, and any young comic watching this that goes on there, if you go on, it is a hard thing for a comic to take because we think we do have this mentality. You don't have to be funny all the time, but you have to be funny when the time is right. So I've learned that instead of trying to always, when I first went on Anthony Cumia, people would complain, he's just always trying to be funny. Now that's my natural personality, but after watching back, I understood what they meant by not knowing me. Everything I was saying was trying to be equipped, which to the point where it becomes like almost annoying. And it can sometimes, if the chemistry's not there, slow down momentum or a natural conversation. So I've now learned to let them talk and do their thing. In one segment of 20 minutes, they can talk to a car guy and just talk cars. But if one thing comes up where I can say a lube job joke or something in just one line, boom, the laugh is there. They can go to break. They're happy. I shined, but I didn't ruin any of the conversation or whatever. So like they were saying like, oh, they like that kind of thing. And I'm like, yeah, I appreciate that. And the way I put it to them was I've learned that I'm not the cake, but I need to be the icing. And he's like, dude, that's the best way to put it. I'm like, yeah, I don't need to be the star of this because I'm not. It's Chaz and AJ. It's hard sometimes when you're a comic because you're alone on stage to check that ego. And because when you're just a guest one time, if they had when earlier we went on, or if you went on, it'd be like guest Bobby Tamburo, and you would try to get as many jokes as you're trying to impress a small audience in a small amount of time. I'm on twice a week, and I also didn't even realize this because we do like the last hour is like they do like trivia questions and like that, and they were talking about tomorrow. They're like, Pat, do you have any suggestions? I'm not gonna be on tomorrow. What categories? They have to make up a thing for Stump the Chump. People ask questions. We can't Google, they can Google type of shit. So today we did The Simpsons, stuff like that. Because I watched that movie, I said, so tomorrow, Thursday, we're going to do Harrison Ford movies, like whatever. Just like, nice. Even if we don't know it, whatever. So I said, well, who's the guest tomorrow? So they can handle it. And Chaz goes, oh, it's going to be, I think he said who it was. I forget. And he goes, oh, but that doesn't matter. He goes, you're the only comic that we let stay the last hour. Everyone's 7 to 9. I go, oh, it's probably because of schedule. He goes, well, that also because we like having you on, but it also makes more sense when you're getting paid anyway for the extra hour. So I didn't even realize that. Like most of them are on 7 to 9. I'm on 7 to 10, which is very cool. You know what I mean? Thursday, I have to go on with them from 7 to 10. And then I have to cover a shift for somebody from 2 to 7 in a different room.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's cool, but I don't drive. So I'm not going to Uber twice. So from 10 to 2, I'm just going to be sitting in this. There's really nothing to do and nothing there in this place. You know what I mean? Like I can sit there and have 85 more coffees, but basically I'll just be sitting there for a long fucking day. And then I have a comedy show Thursday night. I'm getting picked up at 7 to go right to the show.
Dude, that's the life.
And by the way, because that's Thursday. So tomorrow I'm only doing the coverage. I'm doing 2 to 7 on the Fox from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So there's a concert in Bridgeport at the amphitheater, the place that we do a lot of business with, and the Counting Crows, who I've liked since I was a kid, are going to be playing there on Wednesday. And they were offering
a long December.
I like Long December. I
really do believe.
I like that album, but my favorite one is the for August and everything after. I think it's when I was in high school, it was a great fucking album. Mr. Jones is the most known, but there's great songs on that. Omaha, shit like that. But anyway, so I was like, oh, it'd be cool to go see that. And I was like, they had offered like, oh, you could get tickets to it, free tickets if you want to go. But I was like, I'd have to be on the air from 2 to 7. Go right from there to Bridgeport. The Crows don't go on until 9. Dashboard Confessional. Is that the name?
Oh yeah.
They're the opening act. They're on 7 to 9. I'm
Okay.
like, I would probably miss them, but I could be on. I could see the Crows 9 to 11 is supposed to go. The last train from Bridgeport to my house is at 11:55, so it'd be perfect. I could do it. But I have to be back on Chaz and AJ at 5:30 more. I'm like, dude, don't. Like, you haven't slept all week. Yes, it'd be cool. There'll be other, and also I don't drink, and I'm not going with anyone. So the idea is great. For 5 minutes, I'd have a good time. Then I go, I'm a loser. I'm just alone at a concert. I'm singing along, Mr. Jones.
You'd be sitting there Thursday morning just going, it's been a long December.
And
Can I tell you why I love that song?
Courtney Cox?
No, for 1 December, every time Earl Douglas and Chris Pepper Stanley screwed up, Ron Bennington would just look at them and go, your guys are making this a long December, and they'd make them play it because if we get stuck in their heads, and by the end, it was psychological torture.
I was a Duras fan. I love the fact that he was this ugly man with terrible hair and just got the best women.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's not a bad song. It's just that first opening line absolutely will get stuck in your head. It's like if I
that was not bad. That one's bad. The one that makes me nuts, that song, and he goes, smell hospitals in winter at 2 a.m. Like it's
almost as bad as
be a girl.
You're beautiful.
That's worse.
That one's beautiful. All I have to do is that, and it's in your head now.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we'll be doing this for a month.
I know. I try not to talk about that on here, but I watch Mystery Loves Company all the time. The Mystery Loves Company universe has found out that Kevin Brennan had a pilot episode on NBC or something, and they've all been watching it for like a week now. Now they've all been watching it, so they're all just on the podcast commenting about it. But it's not like Brennan has watched it. It's been 20 something over that. He doesn't remember anything. Like Bobby Lee's in it. Like there's some weird people that are in it. And Bobby Lee comes in. It's on his life. So like there's a guy who plays Neil, his brother, like whatever. And it's in the name of the show. Do you know the name of the show?
No.
Number One Son. It's supposed to be an insult. Like he's not. You're thinking he's supposed to be, but he's like, he wasn't thought of that. Neil was, everyone else was, whatever. Patrick Melton, who's a guest on Mondays, just kept, they didn't really have a theme song because it never got picked up, but during the commercial breaks, they would just do this. He's just a number one son. Dude, Patrick Melton, and Drunk on Cringe is this podcast thing that makes clips of all that stuff from Germany. It's a minute and a half thing. Patrick Melton sang it like that at Brennan on this show 50 times. Every time he would say anything, he'd go, you're just a number one. Like he wouldn't stop taunting to the point where now Brennan's singing it. So like last night, as I can't sleep and I'm laying there, I just to myself like, he's just a number one son. I couldn't stop doing it.
Oh dear God.
But it's like, and then Brennan today was on. It's like, what's the song? How's it go again? And then Andy, the producer guy, he was just like, he just had he had to do it. Just like, God damn it, it's back. It's like, whatever. So very strange. But then I couldn't watch the whole thing today because Alex Stein was on. I can't handle Alex Stein. But anyway, that's me. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand some people's fame, but that's okay.
Yeah, beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's true.
It's a long December and you're beautiful.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That'd be the mashup to make me blow my brains out. You're just gonna hear that on repeat and come in my room and find a suicide note in blood on the wall.
The other one that would get me is like the Melissa Etheridge, like, come to my window. It's like, no, I am not. But I had a buddy when that song was on. Every time they would tell us to had a drive through to come to the next window, come. He would do it at them every time they opened the window. Come to my window. Nobody was amused ever. I thought it was great every time.
I'd throw his food at him.
It was just, they would just look at them because they're just a Hispanic lady. They don't know Melissa Etheridge. They're not lesbians from Northampton, Massachusetts. They don't know what's up.
No, they don't give a shit.
So I can see your breath. That fucking song. That was it. She had that one hit, and then she also got David Crosby's jizz so she could make a baby. You didn't know that?
I don't like that.
Melissa Etheridge was was one of the first like open lesbians, and she wanted to have a child, but she wanted a perfect musician. So she asked her good friend David Crosby. Have you ever seen David Crosby? One of the fuggliest. talented as can be. Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. David Crosby is a musical genius. One of the ugliest. He looks like if you drew a cartoon of Einstein.
Yeah, he's not a good looking guy.
No, but she's like, we need his jizz to make the baby. So their child is Crosby jizz and Etheridge jizz. Not jizz. What's she got? Egg. Baby, come in my window.
Come in my dyke cunt.
David Crosby, come in this beaker. You make me a number one, son.
Probably go with Paul Simon in that instance, right?
Yeah, I mean, even listen, are you going for all musical talent? Because if you're going to go for good looks and musical talent and you don't want any sexual attachment, George Michael.
Ooh, now you're opening up a world of possibilities. Okay.
So handsome, so talented, so charismatic. And then he was a great songwriter, but then you get you're like, well, where's the manliness? Melissa Etheridge. So you're getting it from the other sides. That's the baby.
Good point. That's a real good, because like if you go Bo Cephas and Melissa Etheridge, you got you got basically a cattle on your hand.
Let's say you go Prince, Melissa Etheridge, you're making Tracy Chapman.
You made the Steph Curry of musicians.
Really, if you just made Tracy Chapman, you just made Fast Car. That's all that is.
Dear God, I'm gonna go Boy George instead of George Michael. She's gonna be a real freak.
Also, I don't know. I don't know if there's any talent in the Boy George.
No.
Now, if you take all the Culture Club.
Just mix it up. You don't know whose jizz you're getting.
You get Ricky Martin. You're like, God damn it! It's just burr, 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 burr. Like,
oh fuck!
When your song's big as, by the way, I don't know if it comes up on your screen. I did that, and the Zoom goes playing music. It's like set up professional audio in audio settings.
Is that Ricky Ricardo?
Oh, we had a lady call in today about Lucille Ball. Holy shit. And we'll close on this. A lady called weird. The conversation got weird. The question was, do you have something from your childhood that you still hold on to that's weird? Or does your family have something? And like Chaz shared, but this was actually like an emotional thing, but it makes sense. They had a dog his whole life when he was growing up. And when the dog died and just died, he clipped a little of the hair. They kept it. I get that. So it's your family dog. I wouldn't shit on. That actually is like, I get. I said, when did you clip the hair? He's like, when he died. I said, okay. So if you did it like when he was like 2 years old, like, so I can make another. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's
what I mean? That kind of thing. So like, and then AJ was like, yeah, I think my mom, I think we had my tonsils or something like that. And I'm like, oh, you could bring those home. And then because the callers started calling in, the calls went from things you had to body parts you've brought home from the hospital. And one guy's like, yeah, what my friend got his heart transplant. They let him keep his old heart. And a nurse goes, no, they didn't. You can't just bring a heart home. Yeah. It's like, and I was like, two hearts. So we get to that. And a lady calls up and goes, so my dad, this lady was the best caller ever because she was great. And she's obviously told this story before. And she had little jokes in there. And she was just ready to go with this. And she was perfect as a caller because she's like, her dad was a gynecologist and he had worked on or dad or grandfather, somebody worked on Lucille Ball of I Love Lucy.
Never seen such a beat vagina in my life.
He kept the I don't remember the terms, but it's the things that would clean off not the floors of it. There's a tool in a little box. It was like her name, her like stat, and like the things that were in her pussy. and then she was, when we found this, we were like, hey, Grandpa, you got some splaining to do. Like, dude, it was like she had like.
That's good.
So I was like, he really loved Lucy, and then Chad's like, what did they say when you first saw it? I go, I know what I would have said, Babaloo. And then she goes, I'm going to the club. Like she had like 5 lines. It was like, it was wild how good she was, but it was like insane where the phone calls went. It was like, so very
it's crazy how some people can adapt to trauma and just make jokes about the
Yeah,
fact that their grandfather's a freak.
yeah, and just roll with it right away. Like it was crazy. Like a guy, that the whole murder thing that happened in Long Island, the dildo murders, whatever. What's it called?
Allegedly.
Right.
I don't even know.
We talked the Gilgomer. We talked to a guy who's like a FBI type guy, whatever. Yeah, this guy, they've got everything. He actually talked about how you can compromise and hurt certain evidence you have. So they've had a couple of hairs of his for like decades, but they knew if they every time you test it, it weakens it. So like if you like test a hair or like a part of a skin thing, and you test it once and you test it again, you lessen the chances to get an exact match every time you run this test on it, whatever they do with it. So you have to make that decision if you're going to wait. Like even on a hot case, you have to be like, do we let this sit because we don't have enough that we could lose to let it go to a cold case in case it gets open again so we can do this. So like they had to make that decision for like 20 something years to finally do this whole thing, whatever. So, but when that happened, people were like talking about how, I guess a lot of people on the internet were saying how they met this guy or knew this guy, and oh my God, it could have been me, all this. And so Chaz was sharing that there was a guy who murdered a man in Connecticut that he knew, that was like a neighbor or something, that whacked a person in the head with a hatchet, like right at a nightclub, a bar.
Smash.
Yeah.
Smash.
Smash. So he hit the guy with the hatchet singing, hit him with the hatchet, whatever. And this guy calls up and goes, "Yeah, we knew that guy. He was actually lived down the street from us." The one thing they don't talk, we're all making fun of like the hatchet jokes and let me ask you a question, dude. All these fucking things being a dickhead. And the guy's probably still in jail. Whatever. This guy goes, "Yeah, he had a lot of issues and he was in and out of prison forever." Little known fact, that guy he hit with the hatchet, that guy touched his sister. They're like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah." So he was already fucked up, but he found out that this guy inappropriately touched his sister. So we hit him in the head with a hatchet. We're like, all right, we're not making fun. That guy's awesome now.
Yeah,
fuck it. Hero. Now we're like, God damn it. Fuck. We were all just being like, sorry, that guy rules.
We didn't know he was a hero.
We should have axed you earlier.
Imagine if you didn't know Batman was the good guy. You'd see a lot of the stuff he went, that's kind of fucked up.
Of course, like I think AJ said, was her name Molly Hatchet? It's like, all right, dude. You had to get one more in. I'm like, I get it.
Home run, AJ.
Yeah. It's like, but I still, because I haven't queued up. I'm not putting it down. It's like, it's right there. So
I may get to meet your boy soon. I think he's going to do a show with us the next time Earl's back in Connecticut.
Who's my boy?
AJ.
Oh.
He's the one who does stand up, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you'll have fun. I actually, I'm doing a show with him in August and then another one in October. He's good for about 15 minutes. He's only been doing a couple of years. If you guys are doing it anywhere, just a bit of advice: make sure you have it set up so you can play music through the sound. Okay, he does the song. He closes the song parody.
I'm gonna talk to Earl.
Nope, he's got to do it. He has everything we do. He has to do the song. He's newer. He does whatever. It's fun, but it's radio comedy.
I have no issue with song parody or closing your set with it. I just have a problem with now I have to work with both Lennon, who ends with song parodies, and AJ. I can't can't get away from them.
It's funny because when I started, I worked with guys who did that a lot, and then I hadn't seen it in a long time, and now it's him again. It's like it's little things you got to think about. Like in October will be the first time that I'm putting on a show. Actually, no, I did do one show, but we were using the sound at a venue. It wasn't mine. This one place, I know their capabilities don't have a Bluetooth to go into. It's an old school place. So I'd probably have to bring something or tell him, you've got 2 months, work on a joke where you don't have to sing.
Hey, buddy, you ever consider a cappella?
I don't want to spoil it for you, but
yeah,
at the end, he says, "Hey, you guys remember Billy Idol?" And everyone's like, "Kinda." And he's like, "Yeah." Something he would sing, dance with himself. When you get older in life, the one thing you want is a bathroom to yourself. And he does bathroom to myself. I think it's wipe. I forget what the word. He does the whole song. Dude. He doesn't do.
Love that. Cannot wait.
But I'm not gonna lie, the audience, they are
Yeah.
fucking on
No,
board. I
no,
can
no.
make fun of it all I want.
Yeah,
They
no,
are
no.
fucking fired up.
No doubt. Because here's what
Kills.
happens. Let me. I know the audience doesn't like it when we talk comedy, but here's what happens. You're outstage bending over backwards to get this audience on your side at all. You get the show set up, and then that comes out. And no matter how good you've done, you could have the set of your life. That shit's gonna kill more than you.
Yeah. There was a younger, I was at a show at Stress Factory when he did it, and there's a young comic there, and he just goes, "What did I do there?" I'm like, "A joke." He goes, "Oh, okay." I'm like, yeah, a joke will be fine. You will, they're good.
Yeah, you're gonna be okay, buddy.
He also starts his set by doing the thing that I know another comic who does it. And I know, again, it works, but like the way to open up, he comes out and goes, "All right, everybody, howdy, 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 howdy." And then the crowd goes, "Howdy." And it gets them like excited. But like, as a comic, I don't want them learning to talk right away. Like, but they don't talk. It's his style. It's what he does, but just be ready for that. But it's only 15 minutes.
It's gonna be awesome. More details to come on that.
Nice. What do you got plugged?
August 4th, Four Horsemen show at the Harrisburg Comedy Zone, hosted by yours truly. That's a lot of friends of the show.
All four of them have been on the show.
Yeah, but I don't like to consider all of them friends.
Right. I didn't say that.
No, I'm just kidding.
You said friends. I said all four of them have been on the show. Glessner, O'Donnell. I think Manny just got back to doing comedy.
Manny did his first set since having a kid.
I saw the post. Yeah, he said
according to him, did not go great.
I'm sure it went fine. So you know what I mean. He's gonna be super judgmental, but I'm sure he's gonna fucking have killer material. It's gonna be great too. And then Damien is great too. So it's like,
Damien's gonna be great. It's gonna be a fun.
According to all of Damien's posts, he always crushes.
I've never heard of him not crushing. That's a very good.
I'm not saying he's not telling the truth. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I've never heard of him not. That's a very good point.
But Mike O'Donnell will be on the show. And according to his post, he's never done well.
And
he's a killer comic.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've never seen him do poorly. So
speaking of that, I haven't talked to him and I gotta message him. So if he does happen to listen, sometimes he does, I got a fucking bone to pick. So last episode on here, I talked about how my new guilty pleasure and how I've been all sad and weird that week I had off by watching Misery Loves Company and super chatting them so they'll say my name out loud and recognize me. As I'm fucking watching it, they get a super chat from Mike O'Donnell, and he says something. Now it didn't have a picture of him. It said Mike O'Donnell name, and Bob Levy goes, "Is that comedian Mike O'Donnell? He's very funny." Like, fuck you. That's my gig. You don't fucking steal my hugs over the internet, you fucking asshole. I love. Fuck you.
That's Mike O'Donnell. Although I think his YouTube's Fridge Daddy. So it may not have been the real.
But this is one he could have just changed the name, made it up. Because if you want them to say your name and say you're good, you've got to change it to Mike O'Donnell. They wouldn't know who Fridge Daddy is.
That's a good point. You never know. And Mike O'Donnell, chess player, he could think 3 moves ahead.
Believe me, every super chatter changes their name off every joke that's being done throughout the shows.
Fair enough.
One guy is Chad's dead brother.
Speaking of playing chess, you want to plan ahead because not this Friday, the 21st, but the following, the 26th, at 9 a.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Raw Dog, premiering is Just a Hobby, the EP by yours truly, Bobby Tamburo. So come check it out. It's the
How long
debut.
is it?
Like 25 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just, it's topical material that it got rid of.
Where'd you record it?
At the Allen Theater in York, Pennsylvania. So,
when you were performing there? Okay, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of
fun. How'd it come out sound-wise?
Not as good as yours, but it came out
well. Because the guy who was doing all the work was also on stage.
Yeah, no. It was a lot of fun. It was a great show.
Did you have to record it and perform it?
I recorded it, but Roy Harder.
Okay, Roy's
mixed it for me. Brilliant. Yeah, and it's cool. I don't want to talk too much about it, but the album cover is an old Larry Bird on the cover of Sports Illustrated, busting through the wall, and so it's got 4 cheerleaders, and I superimposed Aaron onto one, Roy onto one, Luby onto one, and then Lindsay Lohan on the other. Because if she sues me, she has to talk to me, Pat.
No, she doesn't. Her lawyers can.
Nope. I'll settle. I'll plead guilty, but I got to meet the princess. Like the fact that you called her princess means we will never let that happen.
Well, make sure everybody check that out when it comes out and support that, please. I So this will come out. I'll put it out tonight or possibly tomorrow. So Thursday, I will be at Comics Roadhouse on the Frank Margallo show. Frank is feeling better and will actually be coming back to perform. So he'll be there, me, him, Dave Hintz, and then whatever schmucks are on the show. Sunday, I'll also be at Comics Mohegan Sun hosting the second round of Last Comic Standing. So come check that out if you can. This whole week, if you want to listen to me and you're not in Connecticut, you just can either download the 95.9 The Fox app or just go to 959thefox.com and you can stream when I'm on, play mostly music, but talking between from 2 to 7, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, if you want to hear me on there on the Fox. Chaz and AJ, I'll be on there again Thursday from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. And I'll also be back on the radio Sunday on PLR. It's gonna be hard for me to remember which station I'm on. I know I'm gonna have to have it written down because I know I'm gonna want to say 991 PLR and I say Fox. And then once I do the Fox 3 days in a row, and then I go back on Sunday from 2 to 5, I'm gonna want to say 95.9 to Fox instead of PLR. We have to say the call letters, so like fuck. But anyway, I'm excited about doing all that kind of stuff. I know I talked about it last week a little bit, but I'm going to be putting on a bunch of more shows, and I've got to kind of put some stuff together. My first of my 3 shows near my house. These are basically called the Everything is 5 minutes from Pat House World Tour. So in Ansonia, Connecticut, on August 10th, I've got a comedy showcase with my friend Kevin Dolan, who's very funny, running that one. That's at the Guy Peters restaurant. It's a brand new restaurant in Ansonia. Come check that out if you're in that area. In September, I've got 2 new shows starting. One's going to be a showcase on Friday nights. The person closing that one out is Aisha May. She's someone who's a regular every week on Chaz and AJ as well. And a bunch of young comics will be on that show. That'll be Friday at 8 o'clock at the Riverwalk Social, the same place that I put on my open mic on Mondays. I'll be doing it in the upstairs room as a showcase. It's only $10 to watch all young comics do time. And then Fridays, once a month, I'll be doing a professional comedy show with a headliner, a feature, and myself hosting once a month at Twisted Vine, which is also, if you look it up, a haunted restaurant, which is great. And if you guys remember,
damn, I was just about to ask you for a spot till you said it was haunted.
And also, if you guys remember a couple months ago when I was at Comics and I was telling you guys about that medium who was an asshole and mean to everybody, then she yelled at me for making fun of her in a video, made me take down the video. When I got the gig with these people at Twisted Vine, he's like, we use mediums here. I'm like, well, of course you do. You're a haunted whatever. And he goes, do you know? And he says one lady's name, I go, yeah, that lady sucks. I know, I'm sorry if you use her, but like she made me take a video down. He goes, that bitch owes me $800. I'm like, yeah, fuck that medium.
Common
Yeah.
enemy.
Yeah, she's a large now. So that show there, my first one's going to be headlining by Howie Mason, hilarious comic, of course, all over Boston and Connecticut, all that stuff. Howie Mason and a really good comic out of Connecticut named Cody Marino will be opening up for him. And then my next 2 months,
his dad, Dan.
Boom. He doesn't. Unfortunately, Dan never talked to him. He sent him isotoners once. That was it. But in the next couple of months, I've got great comics set up. Headlining the next 2 months will be Paul Taro, who performs all over New York and Connecticut, like that. And then Dan Altano will be after that. So guys who are kind of Connecticut based, but performing all over New England and New York, I'll be having headlining those shows. So it'll be fun. So just if you're in Connecticut, you're looking for comedy, come to my shows. I'd appreciate it. And also subscribe to this. We are very close to getting monetized. We're very close to 1,000. We only need like 20 or 30 more subs. So if you could do it, that'd be great. Follow all the social media stuff. I'm actually doing okay on TikTok and Facebook. I found a little better and shit. So find me on there. Help me build those things up more so a manager will actually care about an old man who tells jokes. Besides, oh yeah, that's the only thing I want to plug. So besides that, Bobby,
Scotty's Friday and Saturday, and if you can't join them, beat them, and don't be a piece of shit.
Boom.